Hey, this is James Ellsworth, and you're listening to CNY Wrestle.
Welcome, everybody, to the CNY Wrestles podcast. This is episode 13. This is your host, Mike Jones-Billadu, coming to you live from Syracuse, New York. Last night, coming off a great show for New York Championship Wrestling, Seasons Beatings was Saturday, December 15th at the Accelerate Sports Complex in Whitesboro, New York. Great show. Some great new talent was featured on the show last night, including one of our guests tonight, the team of the Ugly Ducklings, Coach Mikey, Rob Killjoy, and Lance Luday. And then some shocking developments also happened. We'll run down the card really quick. The night started out with a four-way match between four guys, and I didn't catch their names. I lied. I do know August Leone, who was in the match. He's a member of the tag team, the Mutts, and newcomer Zayden Lynn. Two other guys in the match. I'm sorry I didn't catch their names. But August Leone of the Mutts picked up the victory in the match. There was a bonus match that happened before the card, what I guess you would consider a dark match. The night kicked off with a tag team match, huge tag team match. Tyler Vincent and Lance Madewell against the Savage Wolves. You'll remember from last month at Tag Title Turmoil that Lance Madewell rescued Guy Sadlowski and Danny Adam when they were getting attacked by the Savage Wolves. So the Savage Wolves came down and attacked Lance Madewell and Tyler Vincent later in the night in their match against Omar and Ronnie Ribbs. So tonight was a kind of a measure of revenge. Kind of interesting match. In the middle of the match, a guy in a mask came down, pulled Tyler Vincent down off the ring. Tyler Vincent chased the masked man to the back. There was a loud bang like he hit the wall. So Lance Madewell was left alone against the Savage Wolves, and the Savage Wolves ended up pinning Lance Madewell, getting the victory. So after the match, they were beating down Lance Madewell, and Guy Sadlowski came down to the ring to help Lance Madewell, his friend, the man who saved him a month ago. So he got, a few hits in, but the Savage Wolves took him down, and then the Masked Man came running back out, attacked Guy Sadlowski, took off the mask, and it was Guy Sadlowski's friend, Danny Adam. So shocking there that Danny Adam turned on his friend Guy Sadlowski, and also made enemies of Tyler Vincent and Lance Madewell. Tyler Vincent came out to save Guy and Lance Madewell from being attacked further by the Savage Wolves and Danny Adam. So I'm assuming we will probably get a six-man tag in January at New Year's Bash. Tyler Vincent, Lance Madewell, and Guy Sadlowski probably will be taking on the Savage Wolves and Danny Adam. That would be interesting to see. The storyline, they're building the storyline for these six guys, and it's good to see that it's carrying on from month to month, building towards something. Maybe we'll see Danny Adam versus Guy Sadlowski down the road. Maybe for the New York Championship Wrestling World Championship or secondary championship when they're developed. It was good to see the talent getting some storylines developed and some characters developed. The next match featured the Beast from the Northeast, the CNY Super Heavyweight Champion, Brute Van Slyke. He came down to the ring. They didn't book a match for him, and he said that management didn't have anything for him, so he threw out an open challenge, and out came New Jersey's own Joey Adams. Brute Van Slyke picked up the victory. Brute is always fun to watch. Sometimes I think promoters like to see him always in the ring with another big guy, and I don't think that's necessarily the best thing, because I think Brute can go with anybody. And sometimes you put him in there with another big guy who can't, move quite as well. And it could be a little daunting, a little slower paced matches, which is okay. You got to come down from, faster paced matches. But I think Brute can pretty much get in the ring with anybody now, and not just other big guys. And I think promoters are just quick to throw him in there as an attraction, big guy versus big guy. But I think Vince can pretty much get in the ring with anybody and make it an excellent match, which he tried to do with Jody Adams. I don't know if Jody Adams really clicked with the crowd here in New York, but maybe he just needs some more character development. That's all, and that's just minor critiques, minor constructive criticism. That's all that is. Not saying I could have booked this any better. Just some critiques. The next match was a tag team match, and quite a shocking development. Wayno coming out as a heel, portraying like a Donald Trump supporter with his Make America Great Again hat and his golf club, teaming with Victor Brand to take on the Nacci Mafia. It's kind of shocking to see Wayno as a heel, since he's always been kind of portrayed as the good guy, and all the fans can get behind and root for. So it's kind of shocking to see him as a heel. I mean, they were kind of hinting at it for the past couple months. Back in October, at Day One, he came out and rambled some nonsense about Space Force. So he kind of planted a seed there. And then last month he was in a battle royal. Didn't get too much character development in there. And now tonight he came out with the Make America Great Again hat on and a golf club, saying he was supposed to be in Mar-a-Lago with orange face to look like Donald Trump. So it's good that we can finally have a reason to hate Wayno in public. But I've never really been a big fan of his. I respect the work he does. I'm a wrestling fan, so I am a fan of the sport. I am a fan of all the guys that get in there and give it 100%. Wayno's always given it 100%. I've just never really caught on with his character, but now that he's developing this heel persona, kind of gained a little bit of respect for him. It kind of gave him a little bit of an edge that he kind of needed. The Nacci Mafia picked up the victory here, and kind of puts them in contention for a tag team title match against the Stepdads down the road, I would imagine. And we're going to talk to the Nacci Mafia in a little bit here, and you'll hear what they have to say about their future in New York Championship Wrestling. The next match was another tag team match. Killer Instinct, Mike Skyros, the Moonlight Sun, and his partner Kevin Cartwright took on the debuting team here in New York Championship Wrestling of the Ugly Ducklings, Rob Killjoy and Lance Luty. Coach Mikey was in their corner. These guys are from North Carolina, I believe, and they traveled here from Chicago from another show. These guys are entertaining as hell, man. If you see the Ugly Ducklings book somewhere closer, you got to check these guys out. Hysterical, but also extremely talented. High flying moves, innovative moves I've never seen before in person. And they did, unfortunately, Killer Instinct did defeat them in their debut match, but they put on a great show, and this match stole the show, not gonna lie. It was high impact. The crowd was behind the Ducklings. They didn't really know them or what to think of them at first, but then when they got in there and started doing all these high flying, innovative maneuvers, the crowd really got behind them. And we hope to see the Ugly Ducklings back in New York Championship Wrestling, because they're something awesome to witness. Like I said, if you haven't seen them before and you see them booked in your area, get out there and support them and see them in person, because you'll be in awe. There's not much in wrestling anymore that can leave fans in awe, and I was left in awe by some of the moves they pulled off last night. We're going to talk to the Ugly Ducklings here in a little bit. After the recap of the show. After intermission, we got an 8-man tag. Dante Dio, Price Wright, and The Street, Elite Terrell, and Angel Cross took on Scotty Arrow, The Great Nuka, and The Defiance, Maximo Suave, and Chris Caden. The team of Scotty Arrow, The Defiance, and The Great Nuka kind of imploded. Scotty Arrow just did not gel with this team. He really shouldn't be on a tag team with anybody. He's too much about himself. So The Defiance and The Great Nuka all walked out on Scotty Arrow. And Dante Dio picked up the victory over Scotty Arrow, pinning him in the ring 1, 2, 3. getting a measure of revenge. These guys have been on the opposite side of the ring for the past couple months in New York Championship Wrestling, so their story is kind of developing a little bit here. It's good to see that from month to month these stories are following and fans are noticing. So I think the booking is getting to a slow start, but it's getting to a good start. Slowly building these stories up and basing them on the action in the ring, not on goofy comedy and stuff like that. So I commend the bookers of New York Championship Wrestling for that. Coming out of this match, the Great Nuka, I'm assuming, had a face turn here. I don't know how his mentor El Chi is going to feel about that. He kind of helped the Street, Dante and Price Wright attack Scotty Arrow after the match. So I don't know what we're going to see out of the Great Nuka going forward. I don't know if El Chi is going to be too happy with that development, but maybe we can get El Chi on the show to talk about what happened tonight at Seasons Beatings somewhere down the road. The next match was a four-way dance between Firework Fox Vineyard, the Natural Nick Sullivan, Benjamin Blackwell, and the son of Soldier of God, Ronnie Ribs. Kind of a slow match. I don't think the fans got behind it too much, mostly because we don't know too much about these guys in New York Championship Wrestling. Fox Vineyard picked up the victory. What was kind of weird with this match, Fox Vineyard picked up the victory, but last month he took on Brute Van Slyke in a heel persona, and tonight he celebrated with the fans. So I don't know where they're going with Fox Vineyard, if we're supposed to cheer him, if we're supposed to hate him. So hopefully we'll hear more next in January at New Year's Bash of where Fox Vineyard is going with his character. The next match was a singles match. Local favorite Kirby Wackerman took on Jacoby Riddick of Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct came down, I should say Mike Skyros and Kevin Cartwright came down during the match to try to help Jacoby Riddick. Ended up costing him the match, and Kirby Wackerman picked up a victory over Jacoby Riddick. Interesting development. Jacoby Riddick not too happy with his partners, Mike Skyros and Kevin Cartwright. He got in a little tussle with them and then walked out of the ring, leaving them in the ring alone. So Killer Instinct split coming up, or at least one man leaving the trio. We'll find out hopefully in January at New Year's Bash. The main event, tag title match. The Stepdads took on the Mutts, and the Dads really had the crowd behind them. They're fan favorites for New York Championship Wrestling. It's good to see. And they did pick up a victory over the Mutts. And hopefully they'll move on to another team coming up in January. But this is one thing I want to talk about the Seasons Beatings show. I think the pacing was a little off. I think some of the later matches should have been earlier in the card. I think the Ducklings should have probably been later in the card since they got the crowd behind them. And the Stepdads, the Ducklings and the Stepdads are two awesome teams, and the crowd gets behind them. I would love to see them build to a match for the tag titles between those two teams. And hopefully we'll get some answers to some of the developing storylines that came out of last night with Danny Adam and Guy Sadlowski, with Killer Instinct, Scotty Arrow, and the feud with the Savage Wolves, Tyler Vincent, Lance Madewell. So we'll see what's going to be going on. It's a slow build towards some good stuff. Kind of missing last night, his absence was felt. High Voltage Omar. He was kind of planned to be there, but he wasn't there. High Voltage Omar is probably the best heel singles act in New York Championship Wrestling right now, and it was kind of tough to not have him there for the crowd to cheer, to boo. They just love to hate that guy. And we didn't see Ezekiel James again. I was hoping to see a little bit more of him. He was on the first card against Scotty Arrow, picked up that victory, and it would have been nice to see him in a singles match again.